Hi, welcome to Lake Hope. It is February 12th, a chilly but sunny day at Lake Hope. And the lake is frozen with about 3 to 4 inches of ice. The plan is to do some ice fishing tomorrow to try to catch some bass and bluegill and just have a little bit of fun. But the reason I'm making this video is for the volunteers that have offered their time to help me with my conservation stewardship program. My program this year consists of planting 400 bare root trees and bushes around my property. We've set up 5 different areas of the property, and we have about 25 plants of 15 different species coming. They're going to show up the week of March 27th. My volunteers are showing up on the 27th, and this video is to help everybody understand the proper way of planting these trees so they survive. On average, only about 60% of bare root trees survive planting because of deer browsing and animal browsing, moles, mice, birds, weather, too much water, not enough water, just a combination of reasons that the bare root trees don't survive. My goal is to try to get 90 to 95% survival rate. And to do that, we have to plant them properly. So come later on this spring, I'll add to this video and we'll come up with a way of planting. Right now, I've got plans of apple trees, persimmons trees, pawpaws, white oaks, hazelnuts, blackberries, blueberries, elderberries, chokeberries, just a lot of variety of wildlife habitat that will improve the property, both aesthetically and for the wildlife to have something to eat. So we'll see you later on this spring. So again, the plan is to plant hazelnut trees, white oaks, pawpaws, crab apples, persimmons, elderberry, dogwoods, sumac, winterberries, chokeberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, common apples, and steeple bushes.
Ooh, there we go.
What do you got? Whoa!
Oh, there we go.
Is that a largemouth?
That's a largemouth. Right in the top of the lip with this jig.
Hi everybody, it is now the end of February. I hope you enjoyed the ice fishing video that we did the day after the last take. The snow's melting and the ground's starting to thaw, and all of the supplies for planting have arrived. Again, March 27th, put it on your calendar, plan on being here. I've recruited a Boy Scout troop and a bunch of my friends, and we should have 30 people out here planting. Again, we're breaking up into 5 groups around the lake, and I've got a map I'll pull up here real quickly and show you where the different areas are that we're planting. But the goal is to keep everybody separate. Here's a map of Lake Hope showing the different areas we're going to be planting. The colors on the map are actually the same colors as the flags that are in those areas. So you'll be able to determine exactly what to plant based on this map, and I'll zoom in more and provide the team leaders with detailed maps of the area that they're going to be working in. This planning is being done the spring of 2021 before COVID is behind us. And so it's important that everybody be cautious, and if you've been sick or ill or been exposed to the virus, please don't come. The groups are going to be broken up in 5 groups and all over the area, so they're going to be separated. But when you're working in close proximity to other people, I highly recommend you wear a mask or a scarf, protect yourself, and be conscious of other people. All the areas are marked with different colored flags, and I did that so that you know exactly where to plant the specific plants. In this particular area, the yellow plants are for white oaks. The red plants over here are for persimmons trees. And the field of blue plants over here are all for crab apples. Your team leader will get an instruction sheet on exactly what gets planted where, and follow that instruction sheet, and it'll be pretty self-explanatory. No area has more than 4 different plants. all of your areas will be staged with the tools and supplies and plants you need to plant that specific area. You'll find them stacked up. If you're bringing your own tools, make sure you initial or put your name on your tools. But we do need buckets. We need more buckets. We need more spades, more shovels. Those don't hurt. So if you can bring some along, that'd be great. They'll begin spades. You guys, one of the most easiest ways to plant is dibble bars, and we'll show you how to do that. There'll be buckets with individual plants. Every plant will get their own bucket. Blueberries in one plant, elderberries in another plant. They'll be in water. It's critical that they stay in water until they're ready to go in the ground. Roots and can't dry out. They can't get windburned. When you're ready to plant, a plant comes out of the water, dips in a special root hormone solution. It's a special fungus that helps promote the growth of the roots. And then you're either going to plant two different ways. Just with a weed mat, because some plants the animals don't like to nibble on. But the plants that they like to nibble on, we're going to protect it with a weed mat, a tree tube, and a tree stake. This is your famous tree stake driver, and we'll show you how to use that later. But that'll help you drive your stake in the ground. So here's how we're going to plant. We're going to first show you how to plant with just a weed mat, no tree tube. These are bushes like chokeberries and plants that the animals don't like to eat. I'm hoping that everybody can use a dibble bar, and that would be the easiest way. Some areas you may have to use a shovel or a spade or maybe even a mattock. But basically with a dibble bar, you put it at a 30-degree angle, you step on it with full force, you push it away, you pull it back, and you make a nice V in there. My assistant Don has taken a plant. Don, show them the roots of that plant. You want to make sure the roots aren't longer or deeper than the hole. Okay, and we're going to take those roots and dip them in a root hormone. Your bucket will be labeled with a root hormone, as that'll improve the growth of those roots. You put it in and make sure you don't put it in any deeper than where it was planted originally. You go in the ground.
You also don't want to jay the roots. They need to be as straight as you can keep them.
Right,
in the
if
hole.
these are turned up, that plant will not survive very well. And he gets it in. I come straight in with the dibble bar, put it down. I push the bottom of the hole first, then the top of the hole, and then I stop. The water guys will get a bucket of water and pour some water on the seedling. And then we will get our weed mat. Okay, so this particular plant is only going to get a weed mat, no tree tube. It's a bush, it's a small bush, and it doesn't need it, and the animals don't like to eat it, so they don't need to be protected. This weed mat is either black or white. Fruit bushes like raspberries, blackberries, blueberries are all going to go with the white up. This particular bush is just a small tree, so we'll put the black side up and we'll spread it out. Make sure that the tab is covering the tree so these roots don't come up. And it's protected like that. And then we're putting 3 stakes in every side. One in the corner, one in the middle, and one in the other corner. Pull it tight so the wind doesn't get underneath it, and step on your stakes. Make sure they're tight. And then I always add one into the flap in the middle to hold it down. So that plant is done. Remember, when you're planting all of these, is to make sure that all the mats are facing in the same direction so that when we come down here with the brush hog, we don't start cutting plastic. Try to make it look right. Okay, now the hard part. We're going to plant a tree with a tree tube, tree stake, weed mat for total protection. Again, using your dibble bar by your stake, put it at a 30-degree angle, put it in, push it, and pull it. And my assistant will get a tree. He'll dip it in root hormone and get a nice jelly root hormone on it and put it in the hole, making sure not to J-root that root. Get it in. Don't allow it to be any deeper than the original planting. I come in vertical. I push the bottom across and the top across, and we step on this plant so that it's fully planted. We can pull the stake at this point. Donnie's going to get the stake and put it 2 to 3 inches away from the tree and the seedling. And there's a green line at the bottom. We're going to pound it into the green line using the stake driver only. No hammer, no nothing else, and put it in as vertical as possible. It should go in pretty easy, but you may hit rocks, you may hit roots. Once it's in, we're taking the tree tube, we're putting it over the stake and carefully feeding the seedling into the tree stake, into the tree tube without hurting any of it. Then we'll take our weed mat, put it over the top, put it down so it's nice and straight all the way down to the bottom. We forgot to water this plant, but the water people should put half a bucket of water on every plant. Donnie's working on a tie strap. Don, can we show him how to do this tie strap? Yeah, you're good, but so you want to make this tie strap into a J at the end. It helps you get it through the tree tube and around the stake and come back out. Takes a little practice. By the end of the day, you will be perfect at J-hook tie strapping, but initially you're going to have some practice. And each tube, the tall ones get 3, the smaller tree tubes get 2. We don't need to put them all on, Don. They get the gist of it. You want to show them one more? See how good Donnie is? All right, and again, we got the toe, we put a third one on. After we stake in the entire mat, they get a bird net. This helps from birds going into the tube, and they will. A lot of times birds will fly into the tube, they can't get out, and they'll die. So every tube gets a tube net, the little tubes and the big tubes. So that's it. That's how we're gonna do it. And the key to this project is working as a team. If everybody's got a job, there's a digger, there is a water boy, or a couple water people because they're taking water out of the lake, a person in charge of the plant, a person in charge of the root hormones, a person in charge of the tree tubes, and then a guy or 2 in charge of the mats. If everybody takes a job, you'll be able to knock through these trees real quickly. Everybody's going to be planting around 70 trees. One group has got to plant 100. So it's important that everybody does their job and just creates a production line of this, and it works out. There'll be a cooler with pop and beverages at every work site, and I'll be driving around with lunch for everybody of hot dogs and chili. We'll eat outside, and hopefully it doesn't rain, and hopefully it doesn't snow, and it isn't miserable. If it is, then April 4th, which is Easter weekend, the Saturday before Easter is Plan B. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody here on the 27th. Orientation is at 9 o'clock sharp, and we get started planning, and hopefully we're done. When your team's done, you're going to be able to put away your tools. We'll come by and pick them up, and you guys can fish or enjoy Lake Hope. So I hope you had a great time, enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in 4 weeks.